Hey guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast with me, yes, Alex Whiteley. Creaky chair in the background there. Listen, welcome to today's episode, which is I'm really getting stuck into my life stories thing. I'm really enjoying people coming and tell me about their lives and feats they've come across, challenges that they've had. And today's story will leave you inspired, I believe. Today I'm speaking to Dawn Williams, who during a bout of fighting cancer, breast cancer, was, taking part in weight training, taking part in competitions, and really focusing on the positives in that, which helped her through her battle. She'll go into it more. I don't want to butcher it because she tells it so eloquently. And you know what? I definitely didn't gush over Sophie Ellis-Bextor on this episode. She was one of my first crushes, man. I definitely didn't gush over her. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. I hope you enjoy it. Dawn is an inspiration, really is, and I've really enjoyed speaking to her, not just because, of course, she's an amazing guest, and yes, she has an amazing story, but whenever I do podcasts with people like Dawn, there's always gateways into meeting other people to expand my community. It just enriches the show because it offers a great more insight into different people's lives, and that's what this podcast is all about. It's about giving people a voice. It's what I'm passionate about. It's what I love to do. Just to give you guys a bit of insight to what I've been up to this week, been getting, in amongst it, really. Of course, I interviewed Dawn for this episode. Today, I'm off to the Shropshire Business Suite. We haven't recorded there in a while. I'm going to be speaking to Jimmy, the organiser of Loop Fest. Of course, I have a great affinity with Loop Fest. It's an amazing event. This is going to be a preview episode, and then we're going to get in amongst it when the festival rolls into town in May. And also, I am going to the castle tonight for Traitors at the Castle, which is it's a Traitors themed event at Shrewsbury Castle, or the Soldiers of Shrewsbury Museum. I gotta say, right, when we did the interview with Rich and Nick, it was great, and they were they were selling tickets, but slowly. But since that episode went out, not only did they completely sell out the event, but they have a 40 people strong waiting list. I'd like to take credit for that. I mean, the Biscuit did a good job kind of covering that. So yeah, I feel like if this event is a success, then I will absolutely be part of things going forward. Tonight, though, I'm going to be playing the part of a 1940s reporter. I'll be taking microphones, maybe even trying to set up a camera, because in the Traitors, when they sit in that yellow chair and they talk about things, that's probably what we're going to do. I'm really excited by it. So thank you to everybody that listened to that episode. Thank you if you bought tickets on the strength of the podcast, and thank you to the organisers for inviting me along to be part of such a fun event. Busy day today, so I'm going to leave this short and sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, your guest today is Dawn Williams. Enjoy!
Said I took my lumps, roll with the punches, made my bed, ignored my hunches. I focused on the wrong stuff, but baby, you are the change now. Let them talk, let them talk, let them talk. Took my lumps, roll with the punches, made my bed.
Hey guys, how's it going? We're back at the apartment. We've been out and about over the last few episodes. We've been to the Prince of Wales pub, we've been to the Bricklayers Arms and the Shrewsbury Coffee House, but now back at home. And today I'm interviewing Dawn Williams, who's, do you know what? People get in touch about the podcast all the time. Some people is an easy no. There's a guy who got in touch the other day who's, I think, probably a little bit too religious to come on the podcast. I mean, it's like, these are the things I don't really talk about on the podcast, but Dawn got in touch and I looked at her social media and I was like, it's the most easiest yes, I think, because we're here to tell people's stories. And Dawn, you've got quite an interesting story to tell, quite inspiring, I think.
Yeah, so thank you. I feel quite privileged that I was on the yes list. So, so my name is definitely down. So thank you. And I love sharing this story, not because it's my story, but because I hope it inspires others. Mm-hmm. So that's my purpose of doing my social media pieces, and just spreading the word and hoping to support people who've been in the same situation as me.
Yeah, big hard gulp of the water. I must reiterate as well. It wasn't just a religious. If people are out there promoting businesses and things like that, well, by the way, I love speaking to business owners, but I like telling people stories. That's what I thought I'd add on to that. Okay, so we need to discuss where'd you hail from originally? Are you Shropshire girl originally?
I'm Shropshire born and bred. Yeah.
Yeah, Shrewsbury, Telford. Where are you from?
I lived out in a little village called Waters Upton.
Waters Upton.
Yeah, it's between Shrewsbury and Newport.
Okay.
As a child, I hated it because I hated being out in the countryside, which my mother will attest to because I couldn't wait to leave and pass my test.
I relate. My family live in a. I guess it's a nice little place. We live in Bantry Bay in Ireland, but there's like a butcher's and a supermarket and a travel agent. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not big.
Yeah.
Metropolis.
Yeah. So I moved. I think I was 21 when I moved into Shrewsbury, and I've been here ever since in different parts of Shrewsbury. But I've been here ever since. It's a pretty cool town, right?
It's nice to be within an hour of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So, and you, I mean, obviously, today's podcast is centering around your illness that you found and your fitness and your sport. Have you always been sporty, or was this something that came later on in life?
Yeah, I've always played sport, even from a young age. At primary school, at junior school, I was school games captain. I played netball, I played hockey, I did cross country running. Any kind of sport. I've played tennis, I've played cricket. I'll have a go at anything.
Are you really competitive?
So, a little bit, a little bit. And then later on in life, I've taken on weightlifting, which wasn't an intention. It was by accident, but it was one of those. I'll give it a go. So my coach thought it might be a good opportunity for me to compete, and so that's what I did.
I love that, and we've spoken to so many people involved with both facets of today's interview, podcast episode, whatever you want to call it. Susan Sharrock is a great friend of ours. She's a bodybuilder. She's incredible. She talks a lot about menopause and sort of working through that. How long have you been weightlifting for?
So I was looking at this before I got here. I think it was about 3.5 years ago. It was post-lockdown. I did loads of strength training in lockdown, running, hit classes online, as did everybody else. Bought extortionately expensive weights because everything went up in price. But just got to really enjoy the strength training piece. Came out of lockdown, and that was the conversation with my coaches. Should we try some Olympic lifting? So that's exactly what we did.
It's always like we talked about this the other day, but we were talking about Zumba. Like there's always like something new, isn't there?
Yeah.
Zumba. What's the fighting one that you used to do? Taibo or
combat.
There's always. Have you ever taken on loads of these in the years? Like
I'm not Zumba. That's not really my kind of thing. But I've done HIIT classes, so grit classes, spin. You name it.
I did hit for about 6 months. It really did help.
It does help, yeah.
I can't say that I shed the pounds. I think you could definitely tell I was definitely a lot lighter, but I felt more firm. More, you know what I mean? I felt like my core was actually engaged for the first time in a while. You know, steps weren't an issue or anything like that. Obviously, I'm a bit of a pudding. I'm looking forward to actually putting a routine in place. I'm about to start a new job, which is like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, which means in the mornings I can get into the gym and I can start a nice routine, which is what I need, I think. It feels good to have that fitness. When you don't have that, when you're not doing that, does it feel like you're missing something big in your life?
Yeah, so... and we'll come on to my cancer journey, but the whole focus for me was keeping fit, and my fitness kept me really, really focused.
Yeah.
I had my goals, my training goals, my days to go and train, and to get back to fitness post, I had quite major surgery as well, was super important to me. But it's the community as well.
Yeah.
So I'm part of Evolution Weightlifting, one of the founder members, I'm proud to say. So Sam Heenan has created an ultimate environment for people to train in, and it's become more than just a training environment. It's become family. So I think you kind of get out of your situation, no matter how stressful it is, when you get into that environment, and you can just focus on you. It was Dawn, not Dawn, who's got breast cancer. It was Dawn. And I think for anybody, so you've just said you want some focus. So you take yourself out of that 9-to-5 workspace and you go and train. That gives you that focus. And if you can find an environment that keeps you motivated and you're wanting to go back, then you're winning.
I mean, I have like fitness. I call them fitness pangs because I'm not always like this, like chubby. I'm like, I'll get fit and then I'll put weight on again. I'll get fit and I go weight. I put like, I don't go to like the glamorous JD Sports or anything like that. I love a sweat pit. Like there was a gym in Horsehay when we lived in Telford. There's like and it was just metal everywhere. Just like, it was just hard floor, bit of music in the background, just like people just working out. There wasn't any fancy stuff about. It was just a place to go and focus and just go and do your thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason why I focus so much on sort of fitness before what happened with the cancer is because I wanted to understand sort of how big fitness was before this hard rock hit your life.
Yeah.
And kind of knocked you for 6.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed in 2023. I'd found a lump the year before. And it was dismissed as a cyst, but it was still there a year later. So I went back and I was sadly diagnosed with breast cancer. But I think I was always been fit, but my focus really had been on weightlifting and getting super strong because I had the British Championships in November, and I was diagnosed the 6th of October. So I was already on a sort of high trajectory of building strength, building power. So it was super important to me anyway, but it gave me that extra focus and determination, one, to get to the British Championships in Glasgow, which I did, but also how was I going to maintain that strength? And do you know, there's so much evidence as well. It's not just about me being fit. And this is for anybody who's going through the same thing. There's so much evidence for strength training in cancer. There's more and more and more evidence to say that actually around 30% risk reduction in recurrence is provided through strength training in particular, not cardio, strength training on top of medication. So I'd obviously done all the research as well. So sustaining that level of fitness became even more important to me because I always talk about it keeps the critters at bay. It's my exercise is now my medicine. So it's as important as me taking my hormone therapy. So yeah, to answer your question, I was already training, but there's loads of evidence around prehabilitation now. So getting people into the groove of exercising before they start chemotherapy or any kind of treatment, and that's something I'm a massive advocate for, especially women of a certain age like myself. You're going through the menopause, and then unfortunately you can come down with things like breast cancer. If you're putting yourself in the best position and keeping your bones strong and keeping your muscle density there, then that will get you through. It will get you through. I'm not saying it gets you through perfectly because it's not, it's not a silver bullet that takes you through it and you don't have any challenges, but it certainly keeps you strong, right?
Yeah, I guess like when you're strength training, your body's constantly repairing. There's proteins are replacing themselves, so you get, maybe your body's already in a state where it's kind of like it's already fighting because you're training so much, and so when it comes to things like chemotherapy, which does, big shout out to Lauren Stokes who came on the show a few years ago. She sadly passed away now, but she was so like, she told it as it was when it comes to her treatment, and she was talking about sitting in chemo and the old man walking up and down farting in the corridors and stuff like it. So it's nothing glamorous at all, but she had a strength to keep going. And I guess if your actual body is resilient already, but like you said, sort of prehabilitation, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. And chemo, it's not glamorous. It's really not glamorous. You wear a cold cap, you then lose your hair, your eyelashes, your fingernails, and whatever else doesn't want to stay attached to your body. But your muscle diminishes, unfortunately, through chemo. It's just one of the side effects of it. So if you're maintaining your muscle and staying strong, then you come out the other side, not quite the same place you were when you started, but you certainly come out of the other side stronger and able to then move on and move forward a lot faster.
Did you? This is going to be. I'm really sorry to be so blunt with this. So you're weight training. You get this news. What did you think your life was going to be when you got that news, how did it affect you? Did you think, I'm not going to get through this? Did you think you were going to get through it? I mean, what was going through your head at the time?
Do you know, I've got a medical background, which serves you well, but also makes you a little bit black and white about things. So it became a journey then.
Yeah.
It became a treatment journey, which I know I just had to get through. It was a non-negotiable. This was a treatment protocol. I just had to get through it.
Sure.
But get through it in the best way that I possibly could and give myself the best chance. So did I think I would get through it? Yeah, I did. And I've got 3 children. So that was also in my head a non-negotiable, right? That I needed to get through it for them.
Sure.
But if I did all of the right things and gave myself the best chance, I kind of was backing myself to be okay on the other side. And I became so channeled into my treatment protocol. And I was on chemo every 2 weeks. It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But it was another one ticked off the list every week. It was another one ticked off the list every week. And I'm closer to getting to the end of it and ringing the bell. So it was very much a process. And it's almost, if you can lift yourself out of it and treat it as a process, it sometimes makes it a lot easier. Doesn't make it a lot easier the other side when you then have to continue with life because you've just put it in a box. And actually, your life is slightly different.
And this is something people don't think about when it comes to cancer. You still got to pay your bills. You still got to look after the family. You still got to do the shopping. You know what I mean? These are things that, really affect. I mean, are you married? Have you got a partner that was helping you?
I was divorced the year before I was diagnosed. So I started my new life with my kids on the 22nd of September and was diagnosed on the 6th of October. So those guys went through a really steep learning curve, but I'm so proud of them because they did so well. They were amazing.
Sorry to get so personal on the biscuit, but I mean, just to see if,
But actually, I think I was in a better place because the onus was on me to get better. It was all on my shoulders, and that's not being dramatic at all, but it was very black
no, but
and
it
white.
makes sense because you're like, okay, I've got the situation, but the kids need dinner. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got a situation, but I want to go to the gym. This thing's making me forget. You got these focuses that kind of stop you from wallowing and feeling sorry for yourself, I guess.
Yeah, and I did fare quite well through chemo. Like treatment day would be 6 litres of water. Post-treatment day, 5 litres of water, just to get the horrible toxins out of your body. So that's a top tip for anybody listening. If you're going through chemo, water is your secret weapon. So I worked. I worked throughout chemo. I didn't take time off work because I knew I'd need time later when I had surgery. So, to your point, you have to still work and you have to still carry on. The kids was super cool though. They put a mini fridge in my room. So day of treatment, I would come back and crash, but they'd make sure my mini fridge was stocked and they'd cook their own tea and they would check I was okay. So it really did become a bit of a team effort between us. And, they were doing their GCSEs, so life had to stay pretty normal for the rest of the time.
I had a good read of the article that BBC put out. It's like just like an hour before you came. I don't like to do too much research, but like I did read that you were training 2 weeks before chemo, right? Is that correct? You were like 2
weeks before chemo, I competed in the British Championships.
That's right. Yeah.
Glasgow.
So
yeah.
How was that for you? I mean, like you've overcome this amazing feat with the championships, and then you got to go for treatment. I mean,
yeah. To be honest, before I started treatment, I couldn't do anything, so I might as well throw myself into exercise, which is what I did. So I blocked everything out and just went and trained, because once you've got a plan, and I don't know about anybody else that's been through this, I had a plan. I knew where my treatment was. So between then and the treatment, it was all about doing what made me feel well, made me feel healthy, and what I could do. So I went and I won. So I was super proud of that. And then I did compete 2 weeks after I finished my chemo as well.
Wow.
Wasn't quite as strong as I was before, but I'd still competed.
And what does that look like on the days where you feel a bit shitty and you're kind of like, oh my God, I've been through treatment. I'm feeling a bit weak. You still got to go out there and do it? Do you have days off? How does that work for you?
Yeah. So during chemo, I trained a minimum of 3 times a week, but as 4 if I could get there. And no matter how rubbish I felt, I knew, again, it comes back to this. It was my medicine. It was It was supporting my health. So it became a non-negotiable. And I think that's a psychological piece that people have to get their heads into. If they just think it's a chore and it's not helping, then obviously people won't go and do it. But and now, again, it's my medicine. It's part of my treatment regime. So if I don't go, then I start to think, I'm not giving myself the best chance. And it's all that's the mantra, is always give yourself the best chance.
Yeah. And then of course you went for surgery. That must have knocked you off your backside for a few days, a few weeks. Maybe. How was that? Like...
Yeah, it certainly did. So I had a radical surgery, had double mastectomy and reconstruction. My choice, and everybody's journey with breast cancer is different, and people choose to do very different things dependent on them and their circumstances. So yeah, I was out for 6 weeks, but I was lifting the bar over my head again after 6 weeks. So again, my recovery was boosted by my preparation because I'd been training before. So my healing mechanisms were all in place. So I was quite lucky that I was able to do that.
It's so nice that you had that drive, that focus. I mean, I feel like that is something that people can only dream of, because like I find it hard to focus on most things. This podcast is probably one of the most things I've focused on, and even days like I've just finished editing the episode of Alex Wagner, the mayor now, but I should have done that like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like there are times when I'm sitting here and I think, I've got to do this thing, and even if it's the most passionate thing that I think about, it feels like work. I don't know what that is. To have that focus where that is what drives you is just incredible, you know.
Yeah, and it's It is a focus, but it's just part of my life now. It's a habit, I would say.
Yeah.
And I know that I fare worse if I don't exercise. So, you know, we're all the same. I'm the same, right? I've got important things to do at work, and I've got my to-do list. And it rolls over to the next day, and then to the next day, and then to the next day.
I looked at my to-do list today. There's things on there from like, I don't know, November, and I was like, it's just like a list I made.
And it's what's, I know you say you're passionate about it, but it's actually what's fundamentally vital for you.
Yeah.
You only get one life.
Exactly.
So for me, it's like I say, it's developed as a habit. And my kids know that mom goes and trains, mom competes, mom has crazy diets, mom does, and it's just part of me.
Do you think your diet helped you a lot?
So that was another part. Yeah. I went onto a Mediterranean diet, high protein. I saw something the other day. In my 50s, I'm being told I should eat more protein. In my teens, I was told I should smoke more. So that's been a bit of a shift. But yeah, protein, massive. Lots of water. Collagen is super good as well.
That collagen water that people are drinking, is that what?
I just take a supplement. So collagen and creatine are really good for muscle strength as well. So I did take some supplements, a good mix of vitamins, but just a generally healthy diet. And not calorie counting, but less beige food, more colourful food, and a whole heap of protein. Yeah.
What about the community around you, the fellow weightlifters in the gym? Do you have a good crew behind you?
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. So Sam was a coach at the Shrewsbury Club, and that's where he coached me. He then opened his smaller unit, which probably had 3 lifting lanes. And then he's got his own weightlifting club now, Evolution Weightlifting, which has got 5 lanes and was actually built by the members with Sam. So
where's that?
Super cool. Next to Shrewsbury Rugby Club.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's down there. Go and have a look. That is definitely just crack on and start to train, Jim. You should meet him and the team. I'd
love to do strength training. I mean, Susan Schrock, I remember like she came around here and she was like, I was like, I can do 10 press-ups. And she's like, go on then. She'll be doing press-ups in the living room here. I was like, there you go, there's 10. And she's like, see, you can do it. And I was like, yeah, so the community that he's created is phenomenal. I said this previously. It's like family. And they have been so supportive of me. Every comp that I go to, there's a crew that's there supporting. Even when you're lifting just day to day,
when some days you just don't want to be there because you feel pretty ropey. That's just general. But everybody supports each other and holds them. We hold each other to account. So that's really
important, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just all yeses. It's kind of like, mate, what was that form? Do you know what I mean? Like getting you through it and making sure you're doing it right, giving you maybe a bit of banter. Like that's really important, isn't it?
So it's quite a unique community. But yeah, I love it. And it's so inclusive. It's such an eclectic mix. So we've got surgeons, anaesthetists, IT. I work in the life sciences sector. It's just so cool.
That's really nice to hear. We've just recently did the interview with Alice Nestor, who found she had a brain tumour.
Yeah.
And we talked about her recovery. Her treatment and her recovery, and it's all its gory fashion, not glory, but glory now because she's free, she's done it. What are the hardest parts for you? Well, I mean, like we talk about like cancer treatment, and I know it's easy to say, yeah, I went and had a surgery and then jumped straight back into the gym. But what did you find the hardest physically while you were going through that?
I think chemo's tough, right? It's a big girl pants scenario. You've just got to get through it. And there were some really tough times I went through when I went through chemo because I lost my hair. I went and had this really clever hair system put on, so I actually never saw myself with no hair because that is one thing that I just could not cope with.
I'm used to it.
It broke my heart. But then equally, I lost my eyelashes, and that is really tough because your identity gets stripped, for a long time. So the loss of identity, you've then got to go out and face the world. That's really hard. So
did you have people looking at you differently, talking to you differently, and maybe avoiding you? I mean, how was that for you?
Yeah, nobody knew because this clever hair system disguised it for a long time. It's only when I announced and I rang the bell that people were aware that I'd actually been poorly. So, but that it gave me almost like a mask to go out and face the world. But some people don't do that, and I'm in awe of them because I think that's super brave to go out and
it's raw.
Yeah, because people do. Once people did know, they did talk to me differently. Oh, Dawn, I can't. But I never wanted that. I never wanted people to feel sorry for me. I just wanted people to have a conversation with me, talk to me about the gym or their kids or not cancer. Not that I wasn't happy to talk about it. I absolutely was, but I didn't want it to define all my conversations and to define.
It's about the kids as well, isn't it? You don't want the kids to be going through that everywhere you go.
No. So, and then I think after surgery, obviously there's the healing, but what I wasn't prepared for was the post-surgery hormonal treatment impact. So some of the hormonal treatment that you go on afterwards is really, really debilitating. So I had 6 months.
Boosting your hormones or stripping them down?
Stripping them down. So I've had an estrogen positive cancer. Went through the menopause overnight, pretty much, during chemo. So that was rubbish. It's all the things they don't mention on the tin, right? You go through chemo, they want to get you better, and they want you to have no evidence of disease, which is job done. But actually, I need to have my hormones blocked for the next 10 years. So I went on hormone blockers. And, for anybody listening who's on an estrogen blocker, they'll absolutely sympathise. It's...
what does that do to your mood?
Pretty debilitating. I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I couldn't, open my hands. I had to cling onto the stairs to get down. So I've actually opted to modify my treatment. So I've gone from a... letrozole to tamoxifen, so my risk reduction isn't as big, but my quality of life is massively different because those 6 to 9 months were really, really tough because I did go and train, but it would take me an hour to even get into a squat position because my joints were so sore and stiff and I'd be loaded with painkillers. So I still did it, but it became incredibly difficult to do it. And that you don't see that coming. It's kind of it sideswipes you, and there's a lot of women that I've spoken to have been in that position. So I think just being aware of that and how that makes you feel.
Have you been part of communities have you found yourself in communities with women that have been through similar situations?
So I wasn't in a community when I was going through it, but I volunteer now for breast cancer now. So I sit on a moving forward program and talk to lots of women who are going through the same thing. And it, I think for everybody, you've done the big things, you've ticked the big boxes, but it feels as though you're defeated when you get to that phase, but you're really not. And there are ways around it. And, there's lots of conversations that you can have with your medical professionals to support you. And I've come out the other side. I still get tired. Like, you get super fatigued. Post-cancer fatigue is a real thing. I get all of the lovely post-menopause symptoms, which are not often pleasant, but I've got myself into a groove now, and I'm starting to feel a lot better.
And this is why I love having these conversations now. Like we talked about before I hit record, I was like, I wrote notes, which I've closed my phone now because I don't need them. I barely looked at them. But like I got notes. I wrote notes today because I always feel like when I have these conversations, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth and say something absolutely ridiculous. And that's just like a fear of mine. It's like a phobia of mine that's just absolutely ridiculous because I'm the biscuit guy, right? I can do this. But I feel like there's lots of people that struggle with those conversations, right? Normal people you see every day all of a sudden are a bit busy or they can't come around. Did you ever see any of that?
There was people didn't know what to say. And because I was quite black and white with stuff, that probably made it even worse.
Yeah.
They still didn't know what to say. So, yeah, I did lose a little bit of contact with my friends in terms of seeing them face to face, but I needed to get through it myself. And I don't think that's uncommon either for people to act in that way. But I came out on social media and told people what I'd been through, and then conversations got a little bit easier for people. But, what I'd say is never be afraid. Like, the worst thing you can do is cross the street and not speak to somebody, because that makes them feel even worse. Even if you say the wrong thing, you can't really say the wrong thing.
I quite often do, and I'm kind of like, it's me, come on. I mean, like, I do say the wrong things all the time. I think my wife is every now and then going on like, why have you put that on Facebook? What are you doing that for? Or I'll say something, she'll be like, Alex, like, yeah, it's an Alexism, I call it.
Yeah, so I don't think you can ever say the wrong thing. And there are some things like, oh, your hair will grow back. That's like a big no-no. That is a no-no. Your hair will grow back is a no-no, because actually when you're going through it, I would have probably said that or thought that myself before, but now I know it's like a no. Or
so like you should definitely not say that to people, or like,
no,
because it might not always grow back, or it's just like maybe it makes you feel a bit crappy.
The fact that you're losing it is like, it's like a bereavement when you're going through it. So it's really tough. It is really tough for women. So that was one of my triggers.
Did you ever reach to dark humour? Because I know some people deal with they go into dark humour, but I don't know. Some people deal with that kind of grief and then those worries in a different way.
Yeah, and I was a paramedic, so that was part and parcel of the job back in the day. But I had a double mastectomy and then reconstruction. So I always laugh and say I've got a new set of boobs. Never expected those in my 50s. But some people would find that offensive. But that was because my protective kind of measure was to say that, which is true. It's a fact. So I have got I'm very lucky. But I maybe didn't want to go through the cancer bit before. But yeah, and everybody's different. Right.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago that, because I had to do the tickle pink thing, and there's lots of women that were kind of like, well, we'll never pick tickle pink to go through cancer. But Asda's response was, but we like to look at it with a bit of humour and a bit of like light-hearted fun, and then that will make people feel a bit easier, and then maybe we'll make some money. So I totally get that no one is tickled pink to be dealing with cancer, but at the same time, if it helps raise some money, then let's have a bit of fun with it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of on the fence there with that one, because I kind of understand why it would upset people, that kind of thing. But I guess if it helps, it helps.
Yeah, and that's why I do these things. The more you can talk about it and share stories, I think hopefully the easier it gets for people to have those dialogues with, whether it's a friend or a colleague, or a sibling, your mum, your dad, whoever it may be. Hopefully it helps people have those conversations.
Did you have a lot to do with Lincoln Davis or Seven Hospice or anything like that? That was like part of these?
No, not so much now. I know more of Lincoln Davis. They do a lot of return to exercise pieces, which are super cool for people to get involved in. So I'm obviously supportive of that. No, Breast Cancer Now were the charity that I turn to the most. A lot of factual stuff on there. And Macmillan. So Macmillan do super practical things.
7 Hospice is not cancer, is that? That's a completely different thing, isn't it?
Well, it is. Like, people can go there for, and not just end of life, they go there for respite care as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I chose to not Google. I chose to go to Breast Cancer Now and Macmillan. So, like I say, Macmillan do super cool things, like they help write your will, because those are one of the things that I needed to refresh. There's some very practical steps you have to follow when you go through this.
That must be daunting for you.
Yeah. So they help you write your will for free. So that's, you know, things like that. Wow. I had to start to look into, but yeah, stick to the facts. Go to the main websites. But Lincoln and Davis do some really cool stuff when you're coming out of cancer, the other end as well, to help support. They have a lot of support groups, a lot of, let's say, exercise groups to suit anybody. You know, I'm not saying everyone is going to start chucking weight over their heads, but there's lots of things that there's a cancer a tennis program, a walking program. I think there's a network. There's a netball program. There's lots of things that people can do that they maybe once loved, and this gives them the springboard to get back into it.
I can't wait for the sun. I feel like the sun's out today. I've turned the heating off for the first time this year because I'm kind of like, the sun like really hits our apartment and cooks us slowly. It's like a slow cooker in this apartment. But I feel like the summer and the sun kind of wakens people up, makes them a bit more energetic and things. The good days with the weather and stuff, did that help you during your training? Did over the days or better than others? What kind of spurred you forward when you came to your training or competing?
Yeah, I mean, I went through chemo between November and February, so in the winter, horrible months.
The dark days of chemo.
But there is Christmas in between. So yeah, I started running again. I don't do so much of it anymore because I still do struggle with my joints a little bit, but started running again in March after I'd finished chemo because the weather had picked up. Like I say, it's sunny, it makes you want to get out there. It definitely helps going on dog walks, going on walks with friends, just being outside, and not, sometimes your home can feel like a hospital.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I sanitized everything. Everything got sanitized. Everybody got sanitized. So I didn't get an infection.
You're immunocompromised, aren't you?
Yeah. So sometimes it was just nice to get out of that. It didn't stop me going out.
Is that just during chemo, or was it just chemo? Just chemo.
Yeah.
So you have to quarantine yourself while you're doing chemo, or
I didn't. I was just careful. So I could go and train at Evolution, and it was always clean, and there was sterile. Stuff
that's good
everywhere.
Because you think of gyms as not being the most sterile, so it's good that was available to you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, once you got through that, it was just during that infection prone phase, which I didn't. I'm touching wood, but I don't need to because I didn't get an infection throughout the whole of my chemo.
Is it still on your mind? The cancer, is it you're free from it now? You've rung that bell. But I mean, how does that go for your psyche when you go, now that you're free and you can do your own thing? Is it still on the tip? You know what I mean? Like, I always think about these things when you go for the treatment and you feel like my life is it always on the back of your mind?
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, that's a tough question.
No, it is. And your life is never quite the same again.
Yeah.
Every lump, every bump, every pain, it's like, is it back? Is it back? And that unfortunately is natural. It does lessen over time. I still get really bad scanxiety. So any scan that I have, I get nervous before I have it. And then like the worst time is waiting for your results. So every year I have a PET CT scan for the first 5 years, which basically scans me top to toe. That's quite a stressful process to go through.
They look otherworldly, don't they? Those scanners.
Yeah, well, I don't like the scanners, full stop. But it's just waiting for results because I know in a moment that my life might change again, because that's what happens when you get a cancer diagnosis. You walk into a room and within 2 minutes of that conversation, you know that your life's never going to quite be the same again. So I do worry that it will come back, but I'm doing everything in my powers to keep the critters at bay.
Yeah, I love how you call it the critters. That made me laugh. That made me chuckle about the article. I thought that was really sweet. Instagram, social media, do you feel like since you've been through this, since you've been on, doing things at the BBC, on the Biscuit, do you feel like people have reached out to you? Have people come out and said, thank you, you've inspired me? Or, how's it been?
I've had, after the BBC piece, I had lots and lots of people reach out to me, and people that I didn't know. And I've now got my lifting profile on Instagram because I had a closed profile before. So I've had quite a lot of attention from that, which is great because I just want people to. Problem is with me, I'm not very good at keeping it up to date, so I have to keep loading content onto it. But yeah, I have had loads of people reach out to me, which is super cool. I've been on Hits Radio, did a piece on that. I did a piece on the One show in the evening on the radio, did Radio Shropshire, and I did another podcast, as you may well know, with Sophie Ellis-Bextor.
Yeah. We were talking about.
I met her on the train. It was really random. And I just got chatting to her, like we're chatting now, about kids, actually, because I was working and getting really frustrated with work, as you could probably tell. And she asked how old the kids were, and I just got to talking about their GCSEs, her boys of a similar age, and then also about the fact that I'd had cancer and they were sitting their GCSEs during that time, so it was super stressful for them, and that became a podcast.
Nice.
About 3 months later.
She was on Michael McIntyre's big show a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Now, I said to my wife, I was like, she used to be a massive crush of mine when I was younger. When I was younger, like the noughties, I think I was like 17, and she came on the show. I was like, oh, she's not changed at all. She looks exactly the same. And she's like super easygoing, very, approachable and stuff. That's nice.
She was super cool. I went to her house and did the podcast there. So yeah, she was super cool. She's very tall. I do know that much. She's very tall. But yeah, so any publicity has been positive. People's feedback's been positive.
Because like you found the lump a year before you diagnosis, right? Mm-hmm. So but you went and you got it checked and they diagnosed it wrong, or they just didn't really pay attention, or what was that? Yeah,
so what I would say is, like, be aware of your bodies, like check them to within an inch of your life, because my mammogram was negative first time round, my ultrasound was negative first time round. I then went back for a biopsy, which was a blind biopsy. It came back as a cyst. But a year later, I've sat sunbathing and thought, it's still there. That's not right. It's still there. But the scary thing is, I've got a medical background, so I'm pretty vigilant. But I think a lot of people could have just been discharged.
Yeah, sure.
But I went back again, mammogram negative, ultrasound. A very, very special lady, who I can't remember her name because I was in a blur at the time, thought there's something on there, but I'm not quite sure. But I'm going to go belt and braces, and that's exactly what she did. So I had a biopsy, and then within a week I was diagnosed.
Wow.
So it was a year later, so a year's delay. But like I say, my gran always said that these things happen for a reason. So I'd moved into the house with the kids, and at least they were settled in a new, in a new world. So that bit, does it haunt me? No, because some people have said, does it?
Yeah, I get that. I get it. I get why it would. Yeah.
But no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Seems like you did everything right, but I've got like under my bicep, I've got like I always call it like an M&M. It's like a peanut M&M. And I remember going to the doctors and he kind of flicked me around the ear. You're fine, get out, hey, it's no problem. But it's growing. It's still there, and I can feel it. And there's one here. I've got all these like little bumps all over my body. You need to go back. I know. I need to go back. You can see it sticking out of my skin. It's mad. Like all these bumps on me.
It's your body, right? And it's your right. And that's what I'd say. Always go back and get it
MOT.
checked.
I keep saying this to a wife. I was like, we need to be more healthy. We're gonna the summer. My kid's gonna hate me because last summer we were like all up in the Shropshire Hills, we were everywhere. And he's like, I'm only walking up this hill because you dragged me along. And I'm like, wait till this summer, mate. We're going to do more. We're going to cross them off our list. That's one of the things I absolutely love.
Yeah, good. And you know what? Sport is such a release, or exercise is such a release for people. And I think kids don't really see it. I mean, my kids are netball, football, tennis, all over the place most weekends. but it is such a release, and they probably don't appreciate it until they get a little bit older.
No. We went around the Wellbeing Festival a few months ago, and there's a gentleman, I've forgotten his name, beg your pardon, but he was like, your son doesn't realise, but they're the best times of his life. You know, walking up a hill with his dad, you know, and he'll think back on that. So I'm like, I will drag you up more hills. Rodney's Pillar, here we come, you know.
Oh, Rodney's Pillar's a good one. We can go for a roast dinner at the end. That can be a reward.
I do love, I mean, I miss the gym, and I can't wait to get into a good routine. And I feel like the only reason I haven't been going is because of, I think there's a bit of self-loathing, but more like fear of the pudding walking into the gym. Joey Swoll is one of my favourite people. I don't know if you know who Joey Swoll is. He's very cool. He calls out bad behaviour in gyms. He's a massive guy, a big gym advocate, but if he sees that video of people bullying people or losing their temper because someone's walked in front of their camera tripod or anything, he'll play the video on his thing. You'll get him banned from gyms, and he'll be like, you need to do better, mind your own business. He's brilliant, because there are people like me that are scared of going into the gym.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, I've always gone into gyms, but actually the weightlifting part, the big muscly part of the gym, was quite scary.
Yeah.
Until I knew what I was doing, because nobody wants to look silly. But to be honest, nobody really cares. So just go and do it for you. Whack your headphones on, and go and have some fun. Come to Revolution.
I might pop in, say hello. I'm going to introduce me to Sam. There we go, and get him on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, he's been on a massive journey in terms of where he's got to, so he'd be super interested.
I'd be love to speak to him. Yeah. What's now for you? What's next for weightlifting? Have you got a new PB you're trying to beat? Have you got any more competitions you're going on to? I mean, what's happening now?
Yeah, so I did PB on the news, which was absolutely insane. So
you went on the news
and then PB'd. Mental, right? There's a few of us entering the Worlds in September in Athens. So I've qualified.
That's well exciting.
I qualified for the Worlds. I did the English in December. Got a platform PB, so that was almost like my proper comeback. So I did compete the year before, but it was the most nerve-wracking, stressful thing ever. But this year it felt really good, and I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. So the Worlds are the big target. We've got the British Masters a week on Saturday in Bangor, and then there'll be a couple of other competitions scattered around, but the big goal is the Worlds in Athens.
And how much training goes into that? How often are you training?
That'll be a 5 times a week strength build phase, technique, repeat.
Do you have to strip your body, or do you have to put weight on and then strip it down, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I've done weight cuts in the past before. They're not super healthy for you, but and especially now. So the new weight category actually suits my size and my frame now. I post-cancer and hormonal, I have put like 6 kilos on. That's taken a little bit to get my head around. But
of muscle or just in general?
Just hormonal, female.
Do you see that as like, oh, I've got something to work on now? Or is it kind of like,
I can't lose it. I've tried. I think it's just the way that my new body is. And I think that's what some of the post-cancer coming to terms with stuff. And I'm actually okay with it, but my coach will tell you I probably spent 5 months fasting, jumping in saunas, trying to strip my weight down, and it's not healthy for me. So I am where I am now.
I love that you're comfortable with that, in a way that you know it's not going to tear you to pieces, and you're going to be thinking about it all the time. Just crack on. This is the way you are now, right?
Yeah. And I can still be competitive, and that's the main thing. But yeah, I've got tough 6 months ahead to get strong and get fit, and hopefully get a medal at the Worlds. That'll be cool. So I get to don a GB singlet, which is quite cool.
Yeah, that's really nice. Your journey is extraordinary because I'm not going to say it's obviously not been a doddle. You've been through, extensive surgery with the chest. You've gone through chemo. I mean, I feel like psychologically, do you feel like there's any trauma attached to what you've been through? Because that's one thing that Alice said that when we spoke to her, was like she was having nightmares and things, and she went to see someone and they said she had PTSD because of what she'd been through. Is there any of that for you? Is there something that you've considered talking about maybe? So I did have some counselling. Yeah. Not straight away. It's too raw at the time to deal with it. Sure, yeah. So about 4 or 5 months ago, so quite recently, I went and had some counselling to talk about the process that I'd been through. Yeah.
And it is a bit like PTSD, because that piece that I said that worked really well, that I put it in a box.
Yeah.
It has to come out of the box eventually. You
Sure.
have to think about what's happened. And sometimes I look at the photos of me with my cold cap on, like going through chemo. I think, God, was that really me? And that's the kind of headspace that you can get yourself into, which can be dangerous, but it was also a positive that you kind of did park it. I think, and I think sometimes you get angry that it happened to you as well. I think
Why me?
Why me? Why did you go through it? But I'm here at the end of the day.
Is survivor's guilt a thing? I mean, I know I've heard that before.
Yeah, and while I was poorly, one of my close friends that I used to work with, she died from leukemia. So I went to her funeral and sat there, and it was like the worst experience ever, because I just felt that, because we've been in contact quite a lot, talking about chemo, how it makes you feel, and she passed. So I think it's survivor. I don't know. I feel privileged that I'm here. All right, but sad that
I think it's nice to like honor. Like, what's that? Was it same pro Ryan was like, earn it.
Yeah.
This is earn it. Have I been a good man? Because like I feel like there's a part of that where it's kind of like, I've got this second chance now. Let's go and do something with it, and you're smashing it by the sounds of it.
Yeah. But I'd say to other people, it's some days it's okay not to be okay, and you just need to just take some time for you, because painting a smile on all the time isn't always the right thing to do either. Right. And I'm not saying that I do that, but some days I do just sit and watch crap on the telly and keep myself to myself, or take the dog for a long walk, because you have to do that. You have to download, and you have to have that quiet time. You can't be, you only get one life, and be full on every day. You've got to still take that time to reflect. I
feel like I have to keep myself motivated. I fell into a rut of the last 3 weeks. Started. This is going to sound really cringy to a lot of people, maybe yourself. I started watching Waterloo Road because of work. Because of work, that's all I'll say. And I found myself just sat there watching episode after episode after episode of Waterloo. Now, I always used to say that like soaps and things are kind of like brain rot. You kind of like, you sit there and you kind of just age on a sofa whilst watching these stories. And I've always I hated soaps. And I found myself watching Waterloo Road. And I found myself going the other day, I was like, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? And I just turned it off, and I haven't watched it since, and I won't. Because I feel like I was falling into the trap of like sitting there on the sofa eating this mindless soap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But although I did fall into the Waterloo Road trap as well.
It is a very well written show, I've got to say. But
while I was off, I don't know. It's one of those programs that pops up on your feed, and it just automatically started playing. And I started from the beginning. Like, I
was on I think it was season 7 and 8.
Yeah, there's like
and it's like 18, 20 seasons. I'm like, I'm not doing this. This is like a whole chunk of my life that I'm going to miss just by sitting here watching it. Yeah,
I wasn't working, so it was so bad. But but you do need to do that sort of thing sometimes. Yeah. You do.
I watched recently. It's so amazing. I'm a big fan of Lil Dicky, Dave Bird. He's got a show on Disney Plus called Dave. It's kind of semi-autobiographical. He's a rapper, but he's friends with Benny Blanco, who is like produced everything that came through music, and Benny Blanco done that. So they've set up cameras around Lil Dicky's house, mic'd him up. So it's like a podcast, but they're like just around the house, and Benny Blanco is married to Selena Gomez and stuff. So just inviting all these people around the house, and they're just sitting on the sofa and these things. And I'm kind of like sat there like completely zoned out watching this thing. It's pretty much like those stupid conversations they have on Love Island, but with Lil Dicky and Selena Gomez. It's weird. I love stuff like that. You need to be able to switch off, right?
Escapism. You have to switch off and empty your brain, because overthinking is the enemy.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and we all do it, but it is the enemy.
I'm sure there's going to be lots of people that are listening to this that are both fascinated with your story, want to know what's going on, but also like people that are maybe going through what you went through. It sounds really cliche to like, have you got any advice for someone going through chemotherapy or anything? But like, I feel like sometimes there are little nuggets of information that maybe people haven't heard from the leaflets and the websites and the information. What worked for you that you could probably pass on to others?
Yeah, routine really helped me. So like whether it's my exercise routine or whether you go for a walk or whatever you do, map out when you're going to do things for you. I think I made sure that my diet was really good, so that there's actually a breast cancer diet that you can follow. So find a diet that is suitable for you. It does really help. And I think don't be too hard on yourself, because you will feel like crap and you will need to go to bed and you won't want to speak to anybody. But on the good days, make sure you max out on the good days and do some really good stuff for you, because you're still living, right?
Yeah.
You're still living, and you still got friends and family. And even if you just connect with them like over a voice note, just keep in contact with people. Voice notes are amazing, right? My kids think I'm proper down with the kids now because I voice note everybody. But they just keep you connected. So stay connected and find that community that works for you. So quite often I think that my advice would be, all of the friends that you had maybe at the beginning of your cancer journey, call it a journey, but it's a cliche, but it's true, you might not end up with the same friends at the end, right? So find those friends that you can trust, that you believe in, that have got your back, and invest your time with them, because they're the ones that will get you through it. And that for me made a massive, massive difference. Drink loads of water. There's loads of like practical tips. Drink loads of water. Don't Google your symptoms. That's a real no-no. Stick to some really credible websites. There are some really good support groups out there as well. If it's breast cancer now, do loads of support groups. You can get one-to-one coaches that can help you. You can connect with women that have been through the same thing. Everybody's different, and everybody will cope with things in a different way. And I would say out of 10 women, 10 of them will get different symptoms. So just manage your condition and give yourself the best opportunity to get better. But
is it good to break it up into steps rather than take it all on in one go, or is it good to just be like, right, this is the project now, we're going to get through this?
Yeah, your treatment's your treatment, right? You go on this day.
Yeah.
Every 2 or 3 weeks, how everybody's treatment regime's different. The side effects are pretty much this. You know that before you walk into it, so you can prepare for your side effects. So the first chemo I was on, I knew was going to make me feel so sick when I got home. But I had all of like the food ready that I knew that I would like when I got home. So prepare that. Make sure like drinking loads of water on day of treatment. I can't underestimate it. It's massive. And then you know you're going to feel probably a little bit rough, maybe 2 or 3 days. So that's okay to watch Waterloo Road or whatever else you want to watch.
Never again.
But then plan to do stuff in your head, right? I think people put themselves into too much pressure to say, right, on this day I'm going to do this, on this day. But it's true, some days you just don't want to do it. So, but in your head, have a list of things that you want to do on your good days. And then always know what your next step is. Always ask the question. Right, after chemo, then what happens? Or after this round of chemo, then what do I do? When do I get a scan? So you understand that process. So you can almost map it out. And like I say, it's bite-sized chunks. You go through the first 4 weeks, then you have a scan. And then, I think that sounds very simple, but it's the only way to keep yourself sane, because you can't think 6 months ahead, because you've still got some quite intensive pieces to go through.
Yeah. And it's really good that you're doing these interviews and you're spreading awareness in a really positive and good way. I bet there are days, though, even now, especially now, where you just, I don't want to talk about cancer today. Can we just have a day off? I don't want to do it. You have to charge before you say become on this podcast. Have you got to charge yourself mentally up and then God, that's over? Or is it just really easy for you to talk about?
I don't mind talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking about it at all, actually, because I'd rather support people and help people to get through it.
Sure.
And sometimes actually, so I go and volunteer for breast cancer now, and talking to other people actually helps my recovery, because you get to chat through different scenarios and then reflect yourself a little bit when you get home and think about what other people are doing, hear other people's stories. So no, I genuinely don't have a problem talking about it, and I just want to be there for other people.
That's really nice to hear. I think you're an inspiration. I've spoken to many people over the years that's been through hard times, but the strength in you is just it is inspiring, because it's daunting people don't talk about the trauma of these things after you've been through it. It's quite easy to go and sink into, I don't know, a bag of Doritos in front of Waterloo Road for forever. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that you're out there doing your weightlifting, you're doing your contests, you're doing amazing competition work, that's really inspiring. And I'm sure, I hope there are listeners listening to this now thinking, I'm going to do something similar.
Yeah.
Whether it's horse riding, whether it's music, whether it's writing, weightlifting, whatever it is that you're doing, if you focus on that thing that you love, I'm pretty sure it can't do you any harm.
100%. And a lot of people, actually, when I go to these groups, they're doing things that they always wanted to do before, but put it off. So quite often you see it as a new opportunity to try other things, which is also super cool.
Yeah. Well, is there anywhere, anybody you want to mention before we sort of round this up a little? Is there anybody that you haven't spoken about that you want to give thanks to, or any comments while you've been through this?
I don't want to leave anybody out, but my friends, my friends have been amazing. Not just my family at Evolution. They've been amazing.
I love how you call them your family. That's really nice.
They are, but my own family have been great. I get super support from them. My mum's local, my dad's over in Ireland. My partner's been really cool. Not long met me and then took me through a chemo journey, which was pretty daunting, but he's still around, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I think anybody that's I've stayed in contact and I've been connected with, I just want to say a huge thank you. And I think the three that top trump everybody are my kids, because they've been absolutely awesome. They were super brave, super strong. They've learned a lot about life, because they were 15 when I went through this. So 15 and 19. So a big thanks to them.
And if you see Sophie Ellis Bextra about, say, Alex says hi, your besties with Sophie.
I thought I might pass on the podcast, actually, so she can have a listen to our podcast.
I'm only joking, wife. She's in the other room. She's going to throw something at me. It's a childhood crush, man, You're incredible, like I said. And also, sorry about the weird facial hair. I'm growing a moustache for Friday night. We're doing Traitors at the Castle. Oh, wow. So I got to dress up as a 1940s reporter. It's a role I'm doing at the castle. So I didn't want to walk around with a moustache. So I've kind of started to, it's going to go in phases. If you see me walk around Shrewsbury with a moustache, that is why. It's not my choice. I'm doing it for the people.
Okay. You roll.
I got a hard eye roll then. That's really funny. Thank you, Dawn, for joining me on the podcast. You've been really incredible. And your story is fantastic.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
Hey, there we go. Great episode. You get the sound of me swooshing my mic back around to my mouth. There you go. The intros and outros I like to keep kind of organic, you know what I mean? But hey, that was a great episode. Dawn is awesome. We chatted for ages afterwards as well. I feel like there's lots of potential coming from the gym there. I've already spoken to Sam. He sounds like a great guy. There's lots of potential for content there. Like I said in the intro, meeting people like Dawn just enriches this community podcast. So thank you so much for approaching me, Dawn. Thank you so much for coming on and being such an amazing guest. It really was nice meeting you. Next episode, I mentioned again in the intro. So I'm either going to be doing Traitors at the Castle or I'm going to be doing Loop Fest. I'm going to favour Loop Fest. I want to get that out. That's time sensitive, as it's going to be in town in a month. Less than a month, actually. So it'll be Loop Fest you'll be listening to next, actually. Just thought process there happening on the outro as you get it. You guys are amazing. I really do appreciate every single one of you. I was checking my analytics yesterday, which I don't really do normally because I don't do this for the figures, but the community has reached out across the world. We found China now. Hi, China. Thank you so much for listening to the Shrewsbury Biscuit. It's just amazing to me that this plucky little podcast can reach the far reaches of the world. So I appreciate that so much. It really does humble me. But, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, there's about 570 episodes for you to go back and listen to. There are people that that have come up to me and said, I'm listening from episode 1, and I'm really humble about it. But you don't have to do that. It's a bit like the One Show. You can kind of pick and choose which you want to listen to. I'll forgive you for that. But if this is your first time, Yeah, as he has a swallow. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, may I point you towards our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Doing lots of cool TikToks at the moment. I'm rocking a 1940s moustache and soul patch at the moment. I just released a video because it's kind of unusual for me to have something like that on my face. And also my website, which is the Shrewsbury Biscuit Podcast.co.uk. All the episodes are accessible there on there. There's a little bit of information about me and the links to social media too. That website is lovingly made for us by our sponsor, Web Orchard. If you need a website for whatever it is you do, go to the Web Orchard and they will make the perfect website for you. And if you went there because you listen to this podcast, tell them. And they might just give me a hearty high five for doing my job. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Loopfest is next, and I'll catch you guys then. Have a great day. Much love to you all. Peace out.
Said I took my lumps, roll with the punches, made my bed, ignored my hunches. I focused on the wrong stuff, but baby, you are the change now. Let them talk, let them talk, let them talk. Took my lumps, roll with the punches, made my bed, ignored my hunches. I focused on the wrong stuff, but baby, you are the change now.